Hello and welcome to the practical session of software engineering. Myself Rajul Suthar, Assistant Professor of Sri Swaminarayan Institute of Technology. Today we will discuss the function point calculation. So the fourth experiment, it analyze the case study and identify the error and solve it. At the end, need to assess the calculation part of effort using FP oriented estimation model. This experiment also available in virtual lab IIT Bombay. And if we find the function point, so first of all we need to understand what is the function point and how can we measure the calculation of particular product, how can we measure the functionality of particular application. So FP is useful. Function oriented software metrics use a measure of functionality deliverable by application as normalization value. Since functionality cannot be measured directly, it must be delivered indirectly using the other direct measure. Here one example is given in the figure. Weighting factor is given for simple as well as average and complex. So the value of this, or we can count by using the simple, average or complex, we required some measurement parameter, like we required number of user input, means in the system required number of users. So here we enter the count of particular number of users. Then same way in the count section we required number of user, means output user related to the our product, and we entered the number of user inquiry, means whenever we create the product some type of inquiry is generated from the user, like customer requirement. So the inquiry on the base of customer, that also count in this weighting factor. Then number of files related to the product, like image file, database file, media means video or audio file, text file. So count of that file also important for the measurement. Then number of external interface, if we required number of interface from external side, like we are using the database or server resource, so that count into the external interface. And if we try to calculate, means FP point computation, to compute the function point, following relationship is used. FP, this is the formula to calculate the FP. FP is equal to count total 0.65 plus 0.01 sigma Fi. So by using this formula we can calculate the FP. So what is the FP? Where total count is the sum of all FP. FP is our functional point and we are using the total count. So total count is nothing but the sum of all function point entries. The Fi here, I is equal to 1 to 14 are complexity adjustment value based on response to following, like we required ask some of the question. First question is, does the system require reliable backup and recovery? Here some question related to the function point calculation, like does the system require reliable backup and recovery? Are the data communication required? Are there distributed processing function? Or is the performance critical? Or will the system run in an existing heavily utilized operational environment? Next question is, does the system required on real-time data entry? Does the online data entry required the input transaction to be built over the multiple screen or operation? Or are the master file uploaded on the line, online upload or offline upload? Or we can ask the question like, are the input output file are or inquiries complex? Is the internal processing complex? Is the code designed to be reusable? Are the conversion or installation included in the design? Is the system designed for multiple installation in different organization? Is the application designed to facilitate change and ease of use of the user? So this type of a question will ask according to our system. Alternatively, this question is utilized and each component is rated from 0 to 5, where 0 means component has no influence on the system and 5 means component is essential. While we are using the formula, so error per FP or productivity is equal to FP per person month. Quality, how can we find the quality? By using the formula quality is equal to number of fault per FP, or cost in dollar or rupees per FP. Documentation by using the page count per FP, and we can find the efforts is equal to FP per person month. Count total can be obtained using the following table. Here one more table is available to count the value, like domain characteristics and weighting factor for simple as well as average and complex section. So number of users depend on the number of user. How can we calculate the function point? So this is the, if we are selecting the simple case or average or complex case, from the three case we select any one. So how can we calculate? Example, assume that the number of user input is 5, number of user output is 5, number of user inquiries like 6, number of file we are using 5, number of external interface is 5. So apply this assumption on the simple project and calculate the count total. How can we count? Here put the value, like number of user is 5, number of user output user input and output user is 5, number of user inquiries 6, and number of files we are using 5, and remaining part means number of external interface is also 5. So here all the data is available related to the count and the domain characteristics, and we have the weighting factor of simple. So we are using the simple project and calculate the function point. So here total count here we found is 113. So therefore the total count is 113. Now calculate the function point using FP is equal to total count into 0.65 plus 0.01 sigma Fi. This is our basic formula to calculate the function point. Then FP is equal to total count 0.65, and this is the 113. So we multiply 113 into the actual formula 0.65 plus sigma 0.01 into 25, where sigma Fi is equal to 25 already given. Number of external files, total count we found 113. So by using simple calculation, the FP is 25. Finally, this sigma Fi is calculated here, 113 into 0.65 plus 0.25. So the total calculation is 101. So function point is our 101.7 efforts. So FP, here the unit of FP function point is FP per person month. What is the advantage of function point calculation? By using this method is independent of programming language. We can use any language, any programming language. Then if we are using the data, so it is based on the data which can be obtained in earlier stage of the project. In the project we are using the data, so we can identify in earlier stage. The function point are easily understood by the non-technical user, and this helps the communicate sizing information to the user or customer. Some of the disadvantage also covered, like if we are using the function point, so this method is more suitable for business system and can be developed for the domain. Many aspects of this method are not validated, and the functional point has no significant meaning. It's just a numeric value. So this is these are the disadvantage of functional point calculation. Finally, the function point calculation is useful for calculating the total cost of the product, and we use the measurement of the particular product. At the end of manual, you required to complete some question like explain the FP based estimation technique. You also required to give the question of use case based estimation with some example, and what is the cost effort estimation. This type of a question you have to covered at the end of this experiment. Thank you so much for watching this video.